Namo Amida Butsu. One of the things I like to do is read history channels, and I like to look at the history of the human race. I like to just get an overview of what we are as a species and how we interact and our fashions and our cultural norms and our way of interacting with each other throughout the millennia. And one thing is glaringly clear from the earliest recorded history of humankind, we have been a violent, savage species. And in my personal opinion, this has continued up to the present day. Nothing has really changed. Our technology has advanced. We have implemented different political systems, different ideologies. Religions have changed. But as far as our personal advancement as a species, that is to say, in terms of our own enlightenment and overcoming our own debased human nature, that does not appear to have changed through the centuries. And you can say, well, they used to have public hangings, public executions, they used to burn witches at the stake. But whereas we don't do that in our governmental systems or political systems anymore, the stuff we do to each other on a local level as human beings is just as bad, if not worse, than the atrocities attributed to humans against humans in the history of the human race. I mean, anyone who has read the news, either locally or internationally, has been appalled by the absolute barbaric savagery of what humans have done to each other through the years. And I'm not just talking about muggers and robbers and rapists and murderers and serial killers. I'm talking about people who have been married for years, where one spouse will have an affair with another and then they'll both plot to kill the other spouse. And one person in a marriage will decide they don't want to be married and they don't want to have these kids. And so they plot to murder their own children and kill this person they have lived with and claim to love for many years. And I was thinking about this morning after studying, watching a YouTube history channel, and I'm subscribed to several, and just thinking to myself, even in religion, you had, I think Nichiren Shonin once said that, all Pure Land priests and monks and Zen priests and monks should be taken to the beach and beheaded. And you're thinking, how can you do this when you follow a way of life that is supposed to be about peace? And I was watching a channel. The channel I was watching this morning was basically on the history of the Bible and the Christian church, and how the Gnostics were, executed and slaughtered by other Christians. And the thing is, I've talked about on this channel how I have gone to not only Christian churches when I was a Christian, but Buddhist temples, and I have experienced discrimination and acts of cruelty and just stupid acts of ignorant insults and shunning and verbal abuse on many different levels, either due to economic prejudice or racism. And I would come away from the situation enraged and baffled and saying, how can these people not follow the teachings of, when I was a Christian, Jesus, or as a Buddhist, the teachings of the Buddha, the Dharma, when we are in this so-called holy place and we are supposed to be in this holy mindset? And the answer is simple. All I need to do to get the answer for this is to look at myself, my own emotions, my own thoughts. You know, they're like, as Shinran once said, you know, as humans, we have, and this is paraphrasing, as humans, we have our thoughts and our emotions make us prime candidates for hell. We're filled with scorpions and snakes and all manner of vile thoughts and hate and unforgiveness. And all I have to do is look at myself. And the answer is very simple. I'm unenlightened. We, in this Saha realm, which by definition is a lower realm, it is an unenlightened realm. We are unenlightened individuals. We are people who, by our very nature, seek to create chaos in one form or another. We seek, either consciously or subconsciously, to sabotage our own personal growth. And that's why I value this orthodox Jodo Shinshu path that I am on, because I cannot rely on my power, my unenlightened state here in the Saha realm to give me enlightenment. That's insanity. My enlightenment must come from an outside source. And that outside source is the primal vow of Amitabha Buddha. The primal vow that says, if you entrust yourself to me, say my name, and wish to be reborn in my land, you will be reborn in my land. You will be reborn in the pure land of ultimate bliss and peace, which by its nature is a nirvanic state. The pure land is a nirvanic state that by its nature brings about the consciousness of enlightenment. Whereas this state we are in, this Saha realm, does the opposite. So it doesn't matter if you're a priest or a monk of any religion, including Buddhism. It doesn't matter how holy you try to be. It doesn't matter how perfect you try to be. There's always going to be something to screw it up. There's always going to be that one comment. And, you know, have I become a calm, enlightened person? No, far from it. Like I said, if I want to find out why humanity is the way it is, all I need to do is look at myself. All I have to do is just be aware of my thoughts. I don't even have to go into great self-examination. I've done that for many years. I'm to the point now that Josho Adrian's admonition that we should view our thoughts and emotions in this Saha realm as clouds or as a dream state is very effective in understanding who we are And what the Saha realm is all about. The Saha realm is the product collectively of our unenlightened state, our unenlightened consciousness, our unenlightened thoughts, our emotions. Now, I mean, there's a lot of beautiful stuff in the world, and it is beautiful, but none of this. I mean, I'm looking at a beautiful day. It's cold here in Houston, but it's beautiful. The sky is gorgeous. That being said, there's going to be someone today who's going to piss me off. It may be a customer, it may be a coworker, it may be just a thought I have, it may be a remembrance, a memory from the past. And most of you know that you could be having a fantastic day, and somewhere out of the blue, this memory of how someone, be it a family member, a coworker, a customer, or someone you know from way back in the past, it could be when you're a child, said or did something that was so unfair, or something you felt was so unfair that that resentment is always there in the back of your mind. You know, I could be having a great day today, and I've been in that situation where thoughts of my abusive childhood, things my mom or my dad or my sister said to me, or a former boss or a coworker, or what said something to me, and there isn't even necessarily something that would trigger that. But the thing is, I have not blown out the candle of delusionment because I can't. I've tried. If I could, I would have done so. I would be enlightened. I would not be talking about Amitabha right now because I would have no need for Amitabha. I would be an enlightened Buddha. But I can't bring myself to that state. And so therefore, this channel is all about praising Amitabha and talking about how grateful I am for his other power. I practice a faith-based form of Buddhism based on gratitude for the other power of Amitabha Buddha. That power that reaches in and helps you when you can't help yourself. We are a very violent, savage species. And it's easy for us to hear the horror stories of maimings and tortures and grisly, brutal murders of adults and children. You know, the rapes, the infanticide, the elder abuse, the unnecessary sadistic cruelties. And they are atrocities, and they should be condemned, and they should be punished. But I can't be so self-righteous like I used to be and say, oh, well, I'm glad I'm a good Buddhist. And I'm not a good Buddhist. I'm not a good person. I try to be. Much more than in the past, I accomplish being a better person. I'll put it that way. But there comes a point, if you're serious about your faith walk, if you're serious about enlightenment and becoming enlightenment and coming enlightened, well, you have to face facts. You have to come to the realization eventually that we are by nature a product of our environment. This environment, this Saha realm, is a lower realm. It is a lower realm, but it is wonderfully conducive toward finding and encountering the Dharma. And for that, I'm grateful, but I have to face facts. I cannot use my unenlightened mind to gain enlightenment. And there's this Zen story, excuse me. Like I said, it's cold outside. It's beautiful outside, but it's cold. There is a Zen story of this novice monk sitting in front of a wall meditating. And he does so for hours. And the abbot of the monastery, I think that's how the story goes, comes up to him and says, "What are you doing? And why are you sitting so many hours staring at that wall?" He says, I am determined to become enlightened. And the abbot sits down with a brick and starts polishing the brick. And he just keeps polishing this brick. And after a while, the disciple looks at him and goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, I'm going to make a mirror out of this brick by polishing it. He said, "You'll never do that. That's a brick." He said, "I can accomplish making this into a mirror about as easily as you could accomplish enlightenment by staring at a wall." Now, I'm not a Zen practitioner, but I know that I could stare at a wall for years and not become enlightened. I've told about in videos how when I worked at the mall, on my 30-minute break, I would go out into the parking lot and I would get away as much as I could. I would go to a corner of the parking lot where there were bushes and no one would see me, and I would just sit and meditate. Because as a barista in the mall, you are constantly bombarded with humanity and chaos and confusion, and you try, and people, coworkers and customers let their emotions fly, and it is overwhelming. And so at the time I was a Zen Buddhist, and I would sit in the parking lot trying desperately to let go of all of these chaotic thoughts, resentments, emotions, and find that inner peace. And all it was like sitting in a bath of filthy water. It was like sitting in a swill bath, and all the thoughts and all the anger and all the confusion and this would trigger stuff from my past, my abusive upbringing, things those self-same coworkers and employers at the job I had at the time would have said to me in the past, and other encounters I'd had with customers. And in the end, I would end being more frustrated and confused than ever before. One time I was doing that near a stairwell, and some asshole bent over the stairway while trying to spit on me while I was meditating. And of course, that pissed me off no end and made me hate the bastard. And it was like, this isn't working. I'm not becoming enlightened. Not only that, I'm not becoming any calmer than I was before. I'm just becoming more of a victim. I'm feeling more victimized. It's like, here I am trying to be all sacred and holy and meditate and find calm and peace, and these assholes around me don't appreciate that. Instead of seeking me, and of course that's the ego. That's our natural inclination. We try to become holy and enlightened, and instead, and this is speaking about myself, I find my thoughts will go off in these outrageously cartoonish self-aggrandizements of how holy I am and how I study the Dharma, and I'm such a good Nimbutsu sayer, and I spread the Dharma with my channel, and it's all ego. that's really pretty much the best I can do in my attempts at becoming a Buddha. And so even and you want to say, so I get real, but I don't know how to get real. And I think that's why humanity is the way it is. We have, as the phrase goes, the road to hell is filled with good intentions. It paved with good intentions. I'm sorry, bamboo. We want to be good people. We want to be perfect. But the ego steps in, and when the truth is told, in the end, what our unenlightened minds are only capable of doing is wanting to be superior. I can tell myself in this Saha realm, in my unenlightened state, I want to become a Buddha. But more often than not, I want to be seen as someone holy and righteous. I mean, we seek that approval from others. We seek to get our ego stoked and stroked, which is a death sentence for spirituality. Amitabha Buddha knows this. Amitabha Buddha, thank you, Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amirabu, Namo Amirabu, Namo Amirabu. I would be lost without Amitabha Buddha. I am so grateful for Amitabha Buddha because I just can't. I can't. And even my saying I want to is filled, as Shinran said, with snakes and scorpions, all manner of evil that would merit me being a candidate for any of the hell realms. I mean, all you have to do is look at the political system and structure and the politicians of any country, especially America. Holy crap. I mean, need I say more? You know, you want to learn about who we are in the Saha realm, just check out the Daily Mail. Just look at who we are. Look at how grown people act in general. Look at our level of maturity. And I'm not picking any candidate. I'm talking about humanity as a whole, especially myself. I have to, like I said, the best guideline on to understanding how unenlightened we are in the Saha realm is to look at myself and my own thoughts and emotions. Now, I've come a long way only through his power. And I say that with Josho Adrian, any good in my life comes from Amitabha Buddha. It does not come from me. I could say Nimbutsu for 40 years. And it would just mean that I would be saying Nimbutsu 24 hours a day, even in my sleep. My saying Nimbutsu does not discipline my mind. It doesn't make me a better person. And I have no faith in my merits. Any good merits I can accomplish, I can cancel them out riding my bike home from work and cussing out all of the assholes in cars around me. So I don't have any right to claim any kind of personal spiritual advancement or holiness. Yeah, I'm not a serial killer. I don't commit a lot of the atrocities that are mentioned in the news that horrify us, grisly murders and crimes. But I can't say I'm not capable of that. I can't say anything. I can't give myself the benefit of a doubt. Who knows, if I had the wealth and the resources, I don't know what my unenlightened human nature is capable of, but I know that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And sometimes I will sit and I will look at someone who's a celebrity or a Hollywood actor that's fallen and gotten into drugs and kinky, twisted sex and is, you name it, stuff humans do. And there's that ego part of me that looks at them and goes, fucking idiot. If I was like you, if I had your millions of dollars, I would get me a little grove, and and that is my dream. That's my, if I had $1 million, if I had a boatload of money, I would get a nice, comfortable house surrounded by trees and create a bamboo grove, a Buddha garden in my backyard with a lotus pool and the waterfall. I would probably have it in the den of my large house. I don't dream of having a mansion, but I would love to have a large, beautiful house with windows. I love light. I grew up in a house where my mother kept the curtains drawn. It was like a tomb. So I love light. I love sunshine. I love bright, happy things. I love the color green. I love vibrant, festive colors. And I would like to think that I would spend my remaining years as a wealthy man doddering around, saying Nimbutsu, tending my garden, growing my fruits and vegetables, and spending hours on end burning incense and praying to the Buddha. But the fact is, I'd probably watch porn. I'd probably, get off into some stupid shit. Because that's what we do, man. I mean, that's what we do. And so, as I become more and more aware of my mortality with each and every passing year, I have to come to the conclusion and the self realization and just wave the flag of surrender. This is the flag of surrender. I surrender, Amitabha Buddha. I entrust myself to you because I can't. I want to. I really want to be a Buddha in this life. I really want all this suffering caused by my garbage thoughts and emotions, my lack of intelligence, my ignorance, my out and out stupidity in the things I do, in the things I say, in the things I forget to do and say, because it just doesn't occur to me. A bamboo, a spiritual idiot. And just admit this. Because if I try to become a holy saint, I think at best I could become a cult leader. That would be it. I can't do it. I don't know how. I do not have the enlightened mind to know how to bring about dramatic change in myself, in my emotions, in my thoughts, in my personality. And so I humble myself and I turn to the primal vow, the 18th vow of Amitabha Buddha. And I just entrust myself to Amida. I say his name. grateful that he's there for me, grateful that he has given me his name, that name that connects me, that name that is my joy. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amitofo, Namo Aida Fa, Namo Amitabu, Namo Amitabhaya, Buddhaya. You know, I have nothing else to claim that I am anything great but the name of Amitabha Buddha, but the grace of Amitabha Buddha, but the love of Amitabha Buddha, the infinite, unknowable compassion of Amitabha Buddha that encircles my life, that is my joy, my truest joy. Everything else is clouds. They change constantly. I see a couple of clouds out there. And in a couple of minutes, all these clouds I'm looking at will be replaced by other clouds that float, that meander, or just materialize out of nowhere because of the moisture levels in the atmosphere due to the cold weather. That's my thoughts and emotions. We are a violent species because we are unstable. We are manic. We really don't know what we want. And more often than not, we want what is not good for us. We want what we know in the long run will destroy us, will hurt us. This is why I have to admit I am nothing more than an ignorant peasant. And I humble myself before Amitabha Buddha. And I don't even try to compose any great prayers because I know it all comes from the garbage of my unenlightened mind. That's not to say I'm all garbage and all, you know, I'm a good person. I would qualify as a very good, hardworking, decent, faithful individual. But where does that get me? Where did that get me trying to meditate in the parking lot of the mall or under the stairwell outside in the mall that I worked at? It gets you spit on. It gets you sitting in the filthy bath of your own unenlightened experience, past and present. I have to admit, my true joy comes from Amitabha Buddha and clinging to his sleeves. I love that phrase because it so epitomizes who I am and where I am. I cling to his sleeves. When I say Nimbutsu, when I hold this mala, this rosary, this ginsu, when I hold these prayer beads in my hand, I am clinging to the sleeves of Amida. When I lay in this bed behind me and I first start to wake up and I say the name of Amitabha Buddha in my mind, I'm clinging to the sleeves of Amida Buddha, desperately clinging. Like a drowning man adrift in a sea of fear, doubt, and confusion, I cling to the sleeves of Amitabha Buddha, knowing that he is there, knowing that he is real, knowing that he is my salvation, my truest, indeed my only hope. And I I am so grateful for this. This is where my gratitude comes from. I am so grateful for the joy that Amitabha Buddha, through his name, through his presence, through his love, has inserted into my lost, confused, negative, insane existence. Without a shadow of a doubt, I have to admit, he is my sanity. He is my peace. He has far exceeded any requirement I could have ever had for a deity or a spiritual leader or a guru, a teacher. He has brought such peace and joy into my life. And even though, as an unenlightened being living in the Saha realm, I can find a way to change my focus and screw up that peace, still, he is always there. I have to remind myself to put my focus back on Amitabha Buddha again and 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 again. And that's okay. Because until I go to the pure land of ultimate peace and bliss, this is the best I can do. As a Bambu, as a spiritual idiot, this is the best I can do. But that's okay. It's not dependent on what I can and cannot do. Because in the end, my merits aren't worth shit. At the best, my merits are expressions of my own egotistical, unenlightened nature. Amitabha Buddha's merits are what I believe in. Amitabha Buddha's love is what I entrust in, what I have faith in. I know that Amitabha Buddha is there for me, 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Amitabha Buddha is there for me. His name is there for me. And if I am not in a position to say his name aloud, I can think his name. I can whisper his name. That name has given me a calm and a peace and a joy I have never known before, which I constantly screw up because, welcome to the Saha realm. Like I said, I need Amitabha Buddha because of my unenlightened nature. Now I understand we all have Buddha nature. I cannot access my Buddha nature. I would not know how to blow out the candle of delusion. Amitabha Buddha has done that. He has provided the primal vow for me. He has created the nirvanic pure land for me. All I need to know is that. And in times of madness and confusion, I have to remember to tell myself, give it to Amida. You do the best you can, Dave. Know that you're unenlightened. Know that you're incapable of saving yourself, even with the best intentions. And just entrust it to Amida. Even as a man of Shinjin, even as a man who has no doubt that I will be a man of Shinjin till the day I die, who knows with diamond-like faith that he will be reborn in the pure land of ultimate bliss and peace in his next life. Here, in the meantime, I'm Dave, living in this land known as Saha, in this age known as Mapo, the Dharma ending age. And that's just the way it is. And I have no guarantees for myself as a human being in this realm. The only guarantee I have, hands down, is I will be born in the pure land of ultimate bliss and peace. I will sit before Amitabha Buddha, but only after I die. But until then, he is there for me. Until then, he is always here for me. Even especially when I don't feel it. And it doesn't matter what I'm going through. It doesn't matter if I've done or said something horribly stupid. It doesn't matter if, you know, I got drunk or I got off a porn site online and because I'm not holy. Now, do I use that as an excuse? No. The masters of our school have made it clear, don't drink poison just because you have the antidote. The antidote is Amitabha Buddha, but I desire to please him as best I can. I desire to share his gospel, his Dharma message. I'm sorry, see, bamboo, idiot. I desire to share his Dharma message as best I can. I can't do that by going out of my way to be a hypocrite. I'm a big enough hypocrite as it is. I just need to realize that about myself and understand he is my joy, he is my grace, he is my fulfillment. He is my truest happiness. I wanted to share that with you because these are hard times. And we're going through a very scary plague created by humanity against humanity. We're going through a time where we have had more access and information to the basic nature of humanity than ever before. And it's scary as hell. And we are now conscious of what we are capable of doing to each other. We've seen the bungling of politicians in every country, in every party, and the consequences they have on humanity in general. We see in ourselves what our thoughts are like. We see what our personality is like. We see the results of the stupid things we say and do. And we want to be good people. We really do. But I'm not enlightened. I can polish a brick all day. It's not going to become a mirror. I can sit in front of a wall all day. I'm not going to find enlightenment. I can say 1,000 different chants, Buddhist or otherwise. It's not going to do anything to me. In the long run, it just takes one thought, one thing to screw it all up. I have to continually remind myself of that, even though I'm a man of Shinjin. That doesn't show a lack of faith on my part. It shows a knowing of my situation. I need Amitabha Buddha in my life. I need his strength, his power to set me free, to blow out that candle, to teach me. And it's not going to happen in this life because reasons. We're Dharma ending age, Mappo. I just want to tell you, everything's not hopeless. If you have not received Shenjin yet, don't despair. Don't give up. Don't throw up your hands and say, screw this. I'm just wasting. You're not wasting your time. The greatest use of your time can be to focus on the name of Amitabha Buddha. And I'm not saying 24 hours a day. I'm saying whenever you feel the desire to say Nimbutsu or to focus on Amida arise in your heart, I urge you to act on that. And if you're in a place like at work or among Christian family members or whatever religion your family is, think the name of Amitabha Buddha. He is here for us in these times. He is here for us now. And we will see him when we go to the Pure Land. He did not lie in the primal vow. Amitabha Buddha is real. His Pure Land is real. And he doesn't make false claims. When he says, if you say my name, if you entrust yourself to me, if you wish to be reborn in my Pure Land, you will be. But take your faith seriously. Just give yourself to him as best you can. That's all he expects of you. Because in the end, it's not about your power or my power. It's about Amitabha, the all-powerful world turner, the Buddha of infinite light and life, who loves us. You have a great day. You have a great week. I love you. Namo Amida Butsu.